Got it. Preparing to stream. Of course. There we go. All right. Okay, so what I'll do is we'll make sure we're live here on the computer, and I think we are. I'll let you know of any chats that come through. If anybody asks any questions or anything like that, I'll let you know on that one. Unless you have another tablet that you have close or a computer, you can go to YouTube and follow along with the chat.
Oh, let me see here.
So you'll just go to YouTube and go to Billy Collins - East Ohio Arm Wrestling, or Splash, whatever it is. And then you can follow along right along with the chat.
East Ohio Arm Wrestling.
Yeah, just put in Billy Collins / East Ohio Arm Wrestling.
Okay, where would it be at then? Oh, right now.
Yeah, you'll see it. It'll say live. Yep.
Yeah.
And then you'll see the live chat tab right there. It'll say live chat. You can just click on that, and then the live chat should show up. Make sure you either pause the video or mute it.
It's muted. I don't have a.
I'm just sharing the video to Facebook here. And then we get started here momentarily. Okay. Share to a group. Shared to the group. Okay. Oh boy. Sorry, I had a log fall under my window. All right. Can you see me? We're all good to go?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone. Hello. We got a few people here. If you're in the chat, say hello, and we will get started momentarily. Awesome. I think we're pretty close. Pretty close. Okay. All shared. We're good to go. We are live. All right, Tony Stansberry, he's here. What's up, Tony? Jeff Wilkinson, what up? Good to see you too, brother. Proud of you. Did well at Winter Blast. Good job on that. Cool. We got a few people in there already. All right, Christina, I'm going to go ahead and get the show started. Welcome everybody to East Ohio Arm Wrestling Podcast. We thank everybody for being here. And on today's podcast, we welcome Christina Casto. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. How are you this evening?
Awesome to have you here. I'm going to start out the podcast. First thing I'm going to do is thank our sponsors for the podcast. First off, we want to thank Marshall Thompson Trucking. He is the Zoom sponsor of this podcast. We thank him so much for that. Secondly, we want to thank SCI Roofing Surfaces, our new sponsor for the club. We thank them for their support. Also, we want to thank Bill Connor with Morrow County Arm Wrestling League. We definitely thank them for their support for the podcast. Also, we want to thank Grip Arm Sport, and Zach Perkins. He's doing wonderful things with that. And then also we want to thank the Kiwanis Club of East Liverpool for their continued support of East Ohio Arm Wrestling. So we thank everybody for their support, and we are humbly, thank you so much for helping the club grow in our area. Thank you so much. Christina,
Hello.
welcome so much.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Thank you for
welcome.
having me tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate you being here. Our first lady guest on the podcast. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I gotta get a lady. I gotta get a lady on the podcast, and why not it be the one and only Christina Casto? Thank you so much.
I'm here. Thank you. I'm honored.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Logan Cooper's in the chat. What's up? What's up, Logan? What a beast. Tell you.
Hey, Logan.
First thing I want to talk about, Christina, is your performance at Arnold's. What a great thing to watch. I tell you what, I got chills. I mean, chills. If anybody has not seen the video of Christina and Alexandra, their match, go back on 217 and see if you can find it. I tell you what, that was I got chills whenever you pinned Alexandra on that and you just started screaming. I was like, yes, it's some. I was sitting right there and I was like, go Christina.
I was a little quiet all day, so I guess I let it out when I won that one.
Oh, I saw it. I was like, oh, she is so proud of that pin. I was so proud of you on that one. That's a big, that was a huge win.
Yeah, she and I have went at it like they said last year. That was the championship match was she and I.
Yeah.
And we went back and forth and she beat me in the straps. Ugh.
I can't remember. You didn't have to go to the straps with her, did you? You beat her outside of straps, didn't you?
I can't remember. I think so with her. It was the other girl that I got the straps, the Goose
Danielle?
girl and no, Goose. Katie Goose.
Oh, yeah.
Still have a bone to pick with the referees on that one because she intentionally slipped and I'd have called that a foul.
Oh boy.
Bill Honor, right?
That's hilarious. So let's talk about Arnold's. Tell us about your experience at Arnold's and how that all got started.
I qualified one year and went, loved it. My first year up there, they were really big on trying to push the arm wrestling itself and the arm wrestlers.
What year was it?
What year was? I do believe it was 2009, 8 or 9.
Okay.
And when I went up there, they used to have these flyers for the event, and they would have different events, and they would have their names and stuff in them. And I had at the time it was Michael Todd's wife. She was his ex-wife now. Robin, she was beside me and she was a Miss Fitness. And she was like, these people are coming up here and wanting your autograph. And I'm like, no, I'm the one famous. And she says, to them, you are famous. You need to sign. And it was like the first day I wouldn't sign one autograph. And then the next day, more people. And I got to meeting, the other big names, because I didn't consider myself a big name even then when I was winning national championships. And she's like, these people know who you are. You need to sign there. So now the rush of all the competitors, everyone's there to compete,
Yeah.
and it's just the camaraderie I love it. I do. I really enjoy going to the Arnold's. 2011, it became a bittersweet event for me. I was woken up at 5:54 Friday morning, phone call that my father had passed away.
Yeah.
And my dad was one that loved for me to do sports, but he always said, if you're going to start something, you're going to finish it. And I was on the phone with my mom and told her I'd be right home. And she said, no, you're going to stay and you're going to finish it for your dad. And I ended up in the final event with Dahlia. I do not know how to say her last name, but she and I went at it. I beat her once, and then we went back for I had to beat her twice, and I beat her once. And in that final match, we slipped out, and we got in the straps, and she beat me in the straps. So, but that year was my favorite year of all.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just something, I had honored my dad. So it seems like every year I go up to honor him.
Yeah.
Because it's on the anniversary of his death. And I go up to have a good time, to be with the family, arm wrestling family.
One thing that I kind of noticed when it came to our arm wrestling group, even though a lot of us, don't necessarily talk all the time, you see people from across the country, the camaraderie, just because we're all arm wrestlers there, is such a small pool of people in the wide vastness of the Arnolds,
Correct.
And it's like, whenever we're all together, it's like arm wrestling versus everybody else.
It does seem that way. I'm not sure if the other sports feel that, and I don't know if it's because we're main stage first event of the Arnolds. But there is a, the family ties, like Leonard and Denise. Nobody knows that they're not related or married, but they act like it.
They act like brother and sister, right?
I love it. I don't know. I look forward to that little bickering all the time, and they're fun. You got to be there beside Denise to keep her straight sometimes too.
I tell you what, it was a blast. It was a blast.
I could go from West Virginia on this side of the country to California, and I would have somebody, if something happened, that I could depend on. I that's how I feel.
Yeah.
If I went to California, I know a bunch of the ladies from California. If I needed something, phone call.
That's awesome.
I went to nationals last year, and Sarah McKinney invited me to stay with her and her family, and I really enjoyed it. That she is one that's really setting up the paving the way for women's arm wrestling, especially there in Texas.
Yeah.
But in other ways, she's really doing a good job. But to get back
Isn't
to
her last name Collins?
Yeah, it's McKinney Collins.
McKinney Collins. Yeah, Collins. Let's go.
Oh my Lord. That just dawned on me. You did wake me up from my nap.
That's right. That's right.
To get back to the Arnolds, this year was especially tough because they now have opened the weight class up. So it's just an open weight class. And when we originally thought, I had been, lobbying for women to come to the Arnolds, because if we didn't have at least 8 women, they were going to do away with the ladies class.
Mm-hmm.
And I would tell people, if you got qualified, come. If anything, you'll have a great time. I guarantee you that. And out of the 16, we had I think it was 13 women in my class. And that Thursday night, I was going, oh man, if I could just make it into the money, the top 4, that would be awesome. Out of this class of women, these
Yeah.
beasts.
Yeah. There's some big names in the ladies division there.
Yeah. But by the time I did get to those beasts, I had wore myself out. But yeah, it was when I realized what I'd done. I was standing back there and because I was helping backstage.
Right.
Keeping all of the arm wrestlers. People don't understand that when I'm there, I'm also there working. So I was backstage saying, you're up next, get up here. You're up next, get up here. Well, I don't have time to prep myself. You're up next, get up. I'm already up there. So they said, I don't know how you do both of those and compete. And I said, it keeps me from thinking about it too much.
Yeah. That's a good way of going at that. Yeah.
I'm really bad about getting in my own head. And I did that a little up there because I'm nursing a little bit of an injury with my elbow. And I have been since Worlds, but I was getting that in my head and things that I couldn't do that I need to switch to. And I just said, just get up there and arm wrestle.
Yeah.
One match wasn't too pretty, but the other ones I did quite well. So
I noticed another thing too, that you have the same look on your face every single time you arm wrestle. You do this little.
I'm not the only one though.
I was like, she does that same thing, and your setup is always the same. You're like right there, and then you do that little thing. You get this grin on you.
Leave me alone. Yeah, that's
great. I'm like, she's about to fire off.
I thought it was pretty funny when I started noticing that, making fun of myself in pictures. And then I noticed Martha Swick, when she and I were up there together last year and he was taking the pictures of us, looked identical. And I said, nice. Martha, look at your face and look at my face. And she's going, what were we doing? I said, we do that every time right before we get ready. I said, I know I do. And I've seen pictures of her and she does the exact same thing. But it's, you're getting ready for that hit.
I'm going to hit the chat real quick, if you don't mind. The Drew 24, our moderator for this channel, he says, oh, Billy is live. Yes, we are. Logan says, hi, Christina.
Hello, Logan.
Wilkie. Jeff Wilkinson, he says, groundbreaking stuff here. What a bad A is what he said. You know what I'm saying? The Drew 24 also says that Sarah Wilson seems unstoppable.
Yeah, I think Sarah's 21 or 22. And of course, she was brought up in the sport. So,
right. Future.
Yeah. With her, her ability to be brought up in it, like my son has been brought up in it, they can peak at a young age. Yep. And hopefully, because it seems like in the last 8 or 10 years, I've gotten stronger, which is bad to say. I'm almost 55 years old. And and just that ability to string that along. I mean, by the time Sarah, if she maintains what she is and the ability to learn the way she does and stay mind focused, what she can be by the time she's 30.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
She's going to be a Gabby. She's going to be an unstoppable force to reckon with. The girl is awesome.
I'm curious on what year did that Sarah start? I'm just curious on that. Hopefully I'll find out.
Well, she's 21. It'd be 2000s. I'm probably when she was 2 or 3 years old. Yeah, because her family were all into it, and we'll find out. I'm sure she'll get wind of this and wonder. But I've watched Sarah all of her life, and she's been in it pretty much all of her life. So she's
we're talking 15, 16, 17 years.
Correct.
Oh, correct. Wow. Jeez. Also, Tendon.
I'm 50.
Yeah, he says, "What's up, y'all?" Also, and we are caught up on the chat. What was you saying?
I said, she's got 17 years, maybe. Let's just say give her 17 years. And to my, 30, 31, that's half of what I've been doing. So that's
Jeez.
pretty good.
That was my next question, actually. Where did you start? Where did arm wrestling start for you? Like, how did you get into the sport?
Well, I always played sports in school, and I did several. One year I lettered 5 times. People say, how did you do that? Well, I played 2 sports 2 different times at the same time. We have what we call rowing, or crew is what we call it here, but rowing. And I did rowing and basketball at the same time. Rowing was on the weekends. And then I did in the summer, in the spring, I did, I was playing softball, and I had the track coach come to me and ask me if I do the long jump for her. So I was just specific into the long jump. And after softball was over, she asked me to be their, an alternate in a relay. And she didn't ask me. She told me I was the alternate in the relay, because the girl fell down and broke her collarbone.
Oh my.
And it scared me to death, because I had never done anything in the high school. And we broke school record that day. And then late in the next track meet, we broke the state record, and it stayed until, I think it was 2004. So it stayed pretty good. And we were All-American in track that year. But me being in sports, I would watch arm wrestling at the fair, and I would think there would be this little teeny girl, Bob Rogers' daughter, Wendy Rogers. And I'd think, if she could beat those big girls, I could do this. I know I could do this. Well, fast forward to maybe 5 years later, my husband and I, after having my last child, were at the our local Wood County Fair here, and they always had the West Virginia States there, and he decided to get in it.
Okay.
And I can't remember. I think he might have placed 3rd in it his first time.
So this is like 1992-ish?
Yes. The fall of 1992.
Wow.
And then I followed suit in September and entered into a tournament, and I was hooked. So
wow.
That's 1992.
Jeez. So your husband and you just decided just to try it out.
Well, and the 2 boys, they went into the little kids category, and they were just 4 and 5 years old when they started. That's cool. Their main adversaries were the Louise boys, Randy Duff and Chris Louise. And I have pictures of them, just little teeny tiny things up on the stage, arm wrestling.
Nice.
4 and 5 years old.
That's cool. Now, was your husband into sports whenever he was in school? Is that
yeah, he played baseball in school. He and I both, we had scholarship offerings to go play. He could have went and played baseball at college, but we just decided to get married and have a family instead. I didn't like school. Sports was the only reason why I went. I never got in trouble, but I didn't like school.
Yeah. Well, I kind of did about the same thing too.
If I had an elective, I chose a gym class. And for 2 years in high school, I was the only girl in my gym class.
Probably beating up on all the guys too.
When we play volleyball.
Nice. So right around the early 90s, you got into the sport. Now, have you done arm wrestling like from then, like every year, or was there like a period like maybe took years off, or have you been straight at it every year for 31 years?
I've been straight at it because I've always held the West Virginia States here since, I've held it now. I think this is my 27th year, I think.
Wow.
20
So you took over
26
West Virginia State's fairly early in the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
The guy that was here normally, that normally did it, he asked me to take it over for him because he was getting out of the sport. He'd been in it for several years. And I was already running some tournaments here for AAA in
Oh,
Caribbean.
okay.
And so I just switched over to the state director and started doing that. So I've pretty much been a state director of West Virginia for probably, I'd say 25 years, you know, whether it be one organization or the other, since AAA is no longer around or an
Right.
organization.
So,
But AAA was pretty big.
yeah, 25 years. Wow. That's awesome. Just looking at the chat, Doug Four is here also, and I messed up my chat. Why am I all messed up here? Okay, I fixed it. So where did you like, about when did you start getting involved with the USAA and Leonard and Denise and that? About what time was that?
It was shortly after I'd say my first, it was about my third trip to Arnold's. We had talked about it, and I guess they saw, you know, that I got comfortable with me and asked me if I'd be interested. And I think what I did first was, because AAA was no longer doing events and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted it to be a sanctioned event either way I went about it. And I had contacted them about being a sanctioning event. And then they, you know, talked to me about being the West Virginia State Director.
Okay, I gotcha. So that was like what maybe around 2000-ish?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it was that. It was probably 2009 or 10.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Probably when it
So
was.
did you contact them about being the state director first, or when did the reffing? How did that coincide with?
Reffing just kind of fell in here just in the last couple of years, because I don't know how it got started, but I was reffing a tournament and someone was like, well, she needs to be ref and she's the only one that knows the rules. But I've been around it so long that, and watched, competed, and it's hard to, like, you know the rules and people come up and you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. And then when I explain it to them afterwards, very kindly, instead of getting upset, it seems like they come back and say, you know, you were right about that. I had a gentleman message me the other night and apologize for an outburst that happened at one of the tournaments. And, you know, I told him I accepted his apology and that I need to apologize to him too, because when I came to explain it to him, I wasn't as nice as I should have been.
Oh,
but he says, no, I think you were, you know, you did all right. But I tried to, now when you're as a referee, you've got to stand back a little bit, hold your tongue. And when you're at tournaments that have no rules, no mindset of any rules, you're just sitting there shaking your head. Do I want to be part of this? No. But I just knew that they were having a referee seminar in Kentucky Muscle last year. And I had already refereed a couple of events, and I went down to get my certification, and that's where I got certified. And I guess I was going to do my master's at the Worlds, but I thought that I would hold on and get some actual arm wrestling under my, or refereeing under my belt before I go in that direction.
Yeah. So you've only been doing the certified reffing for a few years now then?
Oh, no, actually for a year. Just
Really?
last Kentucky Muscle,
Oh,
I was
wow.
certified.
Man, I tell
Yeah,
you what, then we are pretty close together then
yeah,
on that boat. That's hilarious.
yeah.
Because to be
No,
honest with you, I've heard from multiple people that you and I have uh, made one of the best teams as far as teamwork on the table and reffing. You know, I've gotten quite a few attaboy and attagirls, you know, for
well,
our ref.
and I hope so. I know there's been a couple calls where people are like, want to yell at you and not know what the actual rules are, because you got those people that are being brought up with the WAL rules and and such, but I they want to yell at you, and then later on, as they're watching it and looking at it, they're like, you were right about that. Or
Oh,
there'll be
surprise,
someone
surprise.
over in the corner that'll be looking at me and go, that was a good call, don't worry about it. And I'll be, well, I'm really not worried about it.
No, not at all.
Everybody's going to get upset when it's not the right call for them at that moment.
Right. Yeah, I've noticed that. But it is what it is. Um, let's see here. Michael Malone, arm wrestling. He says hello and good evening.
Hello, Michael.
And then DJ Fenton, the Viking, he's in the chat.
Viking.
He said you guys did an awesome job reffing the last tournament I pulled in.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, he did awesome, mate. I tell you what, DJ's gonna be making some heads turn here come September. Let's see here. Let's move on. Let's talk about your local club. What do you got going on down there your way?
Normally I practice with Muddy River Boys. We've had a little disbursement a little bit because of a place of practice, but that consists of Craig Davis. I got a Toby Sanchez. I'm sitting here. When it comes to names, I'm little Toby Sanchez and Todd Zilla and Dave Dutton. I know I'm forgetting Jamie. Oh, Jamie, what is your Baker and all of
Okay,
them?
yeah.
Tyson Borman. And there's
Jeez,
quite a few of us.
no wonder you're strong. You're practicing with the strongest guys in West Virginia. Jeez. Oh my goodness. No wonder.
They don't take it easy on me either. But I haven't been up to really practice with them since we we were working out at Craig's house, and that's a little closer. That's closer to me than they're going up in Marietta, and that's a little ways, but I'll get up
Well, that's
there.
pretty much what, like a half hour away from you, isn't it?
Right at it, and it's on Friday night. That's date night for me and my husband. So
Okay.
that cuts into my. If I want to go arm wrestling on Saturday, I can't cut into date night on Friday.
Exactly. That's exactly. That's a good way to think about it. Mike Malone said he'd love to go practice down there a time or two.
We'd love to have him.
I tell you what, that is a strong group of guys down there. Oh my goodness.
I've had a couple practices at my house with Nick Davis. He's been wrestling since probably late 70s, since the inception. I know 80. And he comes to my house. My husband actually pulled with us the last time we had practice.
Okay.
And Tiny came down. Marshall Burns. He's going to be in the big event. So I have practices there, and then I've been going and having some other practices to try to get some other groups started up.
That's awesome. How's that going along? I know you had that one. Where was that one event that you was just at?
It was down in toward Huntington. Taze Valley is where we had it, and I've gotten a little group set up there. So there, once some people saw that on Facebook, they wanted to come in and be part of the group. So we've got a couple of people set up there that will head that, and that will be their base group. Logan, West Virginia, has invited us down to really get a group going with him down in it's Logan. I was trying to think of what the team's name was, but I can't think of it right offhand. I should have wrote that down.
That's Danny Atkins got a hold of you,
Um,
Beckley.
Danny already has an established group down there. I'd like to get with him to help those poolers out with some of their techniques and things that they're niched on, and but take a group down there and have a practice with them. There were a couple kids that were down in his area off into the eastern part of West Virginia that were closer to him, so that's where they're going.
I got you.
And I'd like to go up north and establish more. Moundsville used to be a big place for arm wrestling, and I know there's a group up there. Try to get them established back again, and go further north, up to west, not Weston, but clean up to the Tip Top. I'm not sure what it's called. It's not too far from you. There's a guy that's wanting a group, so I'm going to be going up there to help him out. Weirton, yeah, Weirton.
Okay, yeah. I invited that person over. They just never came. They're literally a half hour away from, maybe 35 minutes away from me. But I never got any call back from them.
Well, that's what I thought.
So I invite a ton of people, and
well, that will be good. Maybe when we have an open practice, y'all could come on over.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Well,
good.
Make parents help teach the youngins how to start it out.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You've got to have seasoned poolers, veteran poolers that know what they're doing when you start these clubs, because a lot of times I see younger guys coming in that are being taught, and when you teach, you have to teach the ways of the table and the rules along with it.
Right.
And a lot of them don't know those rules, and where the barriers lie, and throwing yourself across the table to keep your opponent from pinning you. You've got to know those in the rules as you're learning them in order to learn how to arm wrestle correctly.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I think after learning from my own mistakes, like being able, I take teaching new arm wrestlers very serious, just because it wasn't that long ago that I started myself. So it's fresh in my mind,
yes.
How to stay safe. And personally, I feel like teaching new arm wrestlers comes very easy to me. It can be explained very easily. The way that I approach teaching the new pullers. And I tell you what, it's something that I really enjoy. Like we were at the Arnold's and showing the people that just wanted to pull. I tell you what, I had a blast teaching and showing those guys just the basics. I love doing that. It is so much fun.
I was kind of glad the second day the table wasn't there, because I didn't have to get up and arm wrestle anyone, because my arm was completely shot.
Yeah. Just tell them left hand only. Left hand only.
It's when you're teaching someone, a lot of people don't understand that when you have practices, and Leonard said, so he hit on something about this when we were at the Arnold's. He said, when you have practices, you should have practices, and you should be able to feel like you could practice 3 times a week. You shouldn't have a practice to where you are going up there and you're, balls to the wall, killing each other on your arm, and not even feel like you could compete the next day or even pick up a weight. And that's something that I feel needs to be, that's how your practices need to be. You need to teach, when you're practice to, yes, learn from other poolers, but not kill each other.
Right. I think sometimes we can look at it as a time saver. Sometimes if we go real hard at a practice, a lot of the time somebody doesn't really have the time to really get a good workout in 3 times a week, or 3 smaller times. Like I don't think I have enough time to be able to do 3 small, easy practices, something like that. So I can understand why somebody would want to go hard at their one practice per week,
Yeah.
because that's the day that they're able to go. Maybe they have like little kids or something like that, and that's their workout for the week. Maybe they're able to do some bands here and there on the off days and stuff like that. But I can understand it from both viewpoints, not going too hard and trying to go easy, maybe a few times a week rather than just one really hard session, table
Yeah.
set. But I think it just comes down to availability of time, really. Do you have the time to do it one day a week, or do you have the time to do it 3 or 4 days a week?
That's true. That's true. But, in a sense, also when you're doing those practices, keep in mind that those new pullers are there too. And they're not just there learning how to pull, but they're learning how to strengthen themselves and get better. They're wanting to know your information about how you do it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, I
And
understand 100%. Yeah.
a lot of the times I feel like, groups don't do that.
Yeah. Certain guys, they only have like Josh Croxwell, he's in the chat, and he just says he gets 1 day a week, and he has to get his work in, physical work, table time. He has to get it all in that one time, because he's got those 2 little ones, and you can't make it happen 3-4 days a week, 3 easy practices or something like that. So I definitely think that the more seasoned guys that know what they're doing, I think that's more beneficial. Whatever they can get, whatever time that they can get in is how they choose to use it. But like you said, the new pullers, I would definitely like to see them take it really easy for the first 6 months. Just learn where to go on the table. You got to learn how to dance before you go to war,
Or in Cameron Smith's case, not to dance. His first time at the Arnold's, he came up 16 years old, came up there to our booth wanting to know about arm wrestling. He stayed probably 5 hours. He stayed from that morning when he came in until I know he probably stayed 5 hours, just soaking it up. And I called him Prancer, because when he got up there to the table, he was just, his feet were going 50 miles an hour. I said, dude, you gotta stop them feet and learn where they're going. That's going to be your first obstacle. And I noticed at where was he pulling at the last time? Was it up there in that Ohio tournament?
Yeah, it was at Gary Woodworth's.
And I said, well, wait a minute, what happened to my Prancer?
Oh, that's hilarious.
He said, you told me I had to get rid of that. And I remember watching him do that. But like, just getting these groups started here in West Virginia, getting back to that.
Yeah.
If there's anyone out there that knows anyone here in West Virginia that would like to get a group, I think Ohio is doing really good on spreading out. I think they've got too many tournaments going on in Ohio. This club's having one, that club's, but that's good because you can pick one whenever.
Yep. You got a lot of different options for sure.
That's just the jealousy coming out in me. I wished I could have one every month.
Hey, that's okay. That's okay. That's all right. You're doing what you need to do in order to grow the sport in your state. And my hat's off to you for that. A lot of people aren't willing to put in the work.
Yeah, I try. I mean, my husband used to ask me, why do we mess with these kids and having these little kids classes at our tournament? And I said, honey, who are we going to watch when we're 80 years old?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's who he's going to be watching. I'm still going to be competing.
Oh, yeah. Well, they say arm wrestling, you can do it for the rest of your life as long as, you're healthy, I guess. I mean, I guess you could not be healthy and still arm wrestle, it doesn't take, a whole lot.
Norm Devio, I think they said, 82 years old and he's still pulling?
Something like that. I know he's in his 70s at least.
Yeah, I think he's in his 80s. I think it's 82.
Jeez.
Yeah, because he's not far behind my father-in-law.
Holy moly. So West Virginia, you're doing great things, and I'm definitely coming down to West Virginia State Championships in Parkersburg, August 19th, right?
Yes. Everyone needs to be looking for some different classes. Thinking about lowering that last class to 154. We're going to be looking at different, just to see if we could broaden it a little bit and get some more poolers in there. But definitely we'll have masters, amateur classes, the pro classes, of course, the pro classes offering the money, and then the ladies classes. I'm going to try to do 2 classes to pull more ladies, and it's bit me before, but I'm going to try it again because I think I've got some girls from Ohio that are really wanting to do it, but they don't want that open weight class. So
Gotcha. So everybody look for Christina's tournament in Parkersburg, August 19th. I will definitely be there in support of Christina. It's always a great time. I think I've been down there 2 years in a row so far. I'll be making the trip down again this year. Let's move on. Unless you had anything else, do you have anything else as far as West Virginia arm wrestling? Do you have anything else you wanted to talk about on that?
No, not that we're going to get rankings started soon. So if any of you are out there listening,
snap.
They're going to try to get some rankings going. It's between East and West, trying to get them together and seeing who pulls out there and doesn't really pull anywhere else. But maybe we'll have something up here before too long then.
So are you going to be heading that up, or is somebody else?
Someone else has already started it. And then I'm going to get with them and see where they ended up with that and see what they have and try to help them with it and see what we can figure out from there.
That's an awesome idea. I know West Virginia, we definitely would love to see a list on that. And then also Pennsylvania, they need to get their stuff together with a list. But both states are 6 hours apart.
It's just a matter of picking up someone that'll do it, because the aggravation that comes with doing that is unbelievable. I mean, you'll have people putting their 2 cents in, and what we need to do is go along the lines of the way Texas did it. And if you've got first position and you want to see if you could take it over, you could challenge that person. They have so long to accept your challenge or whatever. I don't think that getting a first ranking is the way you need to do it if you're not to get it if they don't show up or don't answer but they have like so many months or so or weeks to answer the call to challenge, and then they'll just lose their ranking.
Oh boy. Wow. That's definitely a unique way of doing it. Let's hit up the chat before we move on. Let me see here. I think you're able to see the chat, aren't you?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Chucky Peterson, he's here. He said, Billy and Christina, what's up? What's up, Chucky? I think Mike Malone, he's talking about the Weirton practice. That would be awesome. I'd be up for it. I'm ready to go learn joint practices. I tell you what, joint practices are a lot of fun. They are a lot of fun.
Well, you get different pullers is why. It's and not the same pullers that you pull with every week. And I noticed some of my guys, like they come up to your practices or they go up to Mike Williamson's practices,
Yeah.
It just gets that mix in there.
Yep.
So
Yep. We were just up at a Cleveland practice, I think 2 weeks ago, or a week or two. I can't remember. But it was nice. I got to meet a couple new pullers and share the knowledge on what they need to do, what they don't need to do. Like some guys, they suck it up, and then they just get all that information in, and then other guys are just like, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for, and then they just go
And
right
you
back
never
to
know. You
doing the
never
wrong
know.
thing.
It could be soaking in. It just has to resurface a little bit some other time.
Yeah. I just try to make sure that they're staying safe. But they'll get it. Let's see here. Josh Croxall, he was in here. What's up, Josh? Chucky Peterson said he only gets 1 day a week as well. So it seems like the older, the more experienced pullers, they try to get their work in that one practice. It's just kind of what it seems like a little bit.
Yeah.
He also said, I got a new guy slow pulling with him, and it's so hard to pin him. He is going to be a monster.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully we'll see some newer pullers make some appearances here soon. My brother's here, Clinton. What's up, CJ? Let's see here. Wilkie. Oh, yes. That's a hop, skip, and a jump for me. I'd be there. So he's talking about the Weirton one. So Wilkie's in Pittsburgh. So it's only like maybe 45 minutes from him.
Oh, is Wilkie's from Pittsburgh?
Yep. Pittsburgh. Yep.
I want to keep that in mind.
Yeah. That's Jeff Wilkinson.
Yeah.
Very good guy. I went up to a practice, I think before Arnold's. I think it was like the week before Arnold's, to a practice up there. And we had a few guys up there. It's always good to get over to other practices. I love doing that.
Yeah, I have a few pullers that will ask me. They'll say, "Well, I'm from Pennsylvania, and I'm not real familiar. I know pullers from Pennsylvania, but I'm not familiar which areas they're from. So,
Gotcha.
I'll ask them to give me their number and
Yep.
shoot them into wherever."
Yeah, Chucky Peterson, right?
Yeah.
He's from Erie area up there.
Yep.
He asked 198 amateur class. Are you having that at West Virginia States?
Should have one about that. Like I said, I'm not sure on my weight classes, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Is 198s.
I think at the last November event that I had that you refed at, I think we did a novice 200 split, just 2 classes for novice. And then I think we did 4 classes for the amateur. I think what I'm going to do for the next, my next event, I do believe we're going to do no novice, amateur, the regular 6 classes, along with the pros regular 6 classes. So we're just cutting out novice completely and just going the regular weight classes, USAA weight classes for amateur, and then the pros.
Yeah, I can't having the novice and the amateur. To me, that's just a fine line of who wants to admit that they really suck and who. I look at it like this, because as women, we have never had that choice.
Gotcha.
We've been thrown in with the wolves from the get-go.
Ever since the beginning. Yep.
Yes. So, it's to us, when we see guys doing that, we're like, suck it up, Buttercup, and jump in the pool,
Awesome. Yeah. Hey, let's see here. Mike Malone said I'd definitely be attending that in Parkersburg. Looking forward to that. So we got another East Ohio guy that's going to be coming down for that. Mike, make sure you get a hold of me. You can ride down with me if you'd like. Christy Collins, my wife, she's in the chat. She says hello.
The heathen is Dina Haynes.
Yeah, the heathen.
Hey,
Dina Haynes. She's in the chat. The heathen. What's up,
Wish
Dina?
We were just talking about you, Dina, at WAL finals in New Orleans.
Oh boy. That was a fun story. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna talk about that on air, but
That's 13
maybe another
hours
time.
worth of my life I'll never get back. That was 13 hours. People want to
Oh,
complain about a 4 or 5 hour event. That was 13 hours. And the
man.
people that were in the audience did not have seats. They wanted them standing.
Oh man. She says,
Literally,
"Oh, the blackout." Oh, blackout. What does that mean?
we got blacked out. The women did.
Oh, that's right. That's what you
Yeah.
said. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Hopefully we're gonna change. Well, not me. The ladies are gonna change the game, because there's a lot of great lady pullers out there. A lot of them.
yeah, and if I'm not able to compete with the let's say the Sarah Wilson's, she, as of the Arnold Classic, I never got to pull her, but I didn't get to that. But I may never at 54, almost 55 years old, be able to compete with her, ever. But there's somebody out there that's going to, and we need to highlight these women. They work just as hard, if not harder. If you see some of these girls, their trainings that they do and everything, than a lot of these guys do. And to me, they just need the step it up and acknowledge what we've done and what we there's a lot of ladies in our sports as directors and things like that that still hold the sport together, that don't get recognition. Not that I'm saying that I want recognition, but like at Worlds, I had people coming up to me, those were the best matches. The women's matches were the best matches.
Yeah, the close
And
ones are always the best.
and I'm like, thank you. Thank you. But don't count us out, because once you count us in, you're in for a show. And Texas arm wrestling has really done a great job, especially with Sarah Collins. She has got her, didn't include her maiden name there. She has done a really good job out there. They have an all women's tournament, and
Yeah.
that's in April. And she invited me out to do the reffing, but the following week, I do believe is nationals. And it's kind of a hard one to, do one from the other or do both. I'm not sure, but I would just love to see more and more women. I know Texas is, a ways, but any of the women that are out there that can get to that event, go to that event.
Yeah, it
And,
seems like it is a great brand event, and a lot of people get a lot of ladies get a nice exposure.
yeah, and just like
out
I
of Texas.
say, people don't want to go to this event because they hear this person's going to go, or they hear this. So what if you hear that person's going to go? I knew what I was going up against when I went to the Arnolds at 55 years old, 54. And I still went and put that out of my head and did what I needed to do and finished above some good names, some world champions.
Yeah.
And that's just what I'm saying. You never know what your possibilities are until you do them. And if you're not going to do them on a whim of, oh, this person's going to be there, or, oh, that person's going to be there, then how good do you ever think you're going to be if you
Right.
keep letting that hold you back?
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah.
We as women, or as athletes in general, people want to know whether they need to stay in the novice or go into the or amateur.
Yep.
You stay in your amateur until, if you keep winning, what are you learning? That's my aspect on that.
Yeah.
If you aren't, I know some people say, well, losing's not fun, but it also keeps your mind in focus of what you need to work on.
Yeah.
What you need to train, what you need to focus on. Like I said, I'm almost 31 years into the sport. And I feel within the past 10 years, or maybe 8 years, since I've got with the group of guys that I'm with, that's, really knowledgeable in the sport, especially having Todd Hutchings there teaching us a lot of things.
Yeah.
I feel that I'm stronger now at 54 than when I ever was when I've gotten those 20 some national championships.
Gotcha.
So,
always learning. Sure.
Yeah. And for someone not wanting to go into a pro class or compete against something because this person or that person's there, how are you going to know what you specifically? You can see what everybody else does to beat that person, but it may be different for you.
Yeah. What are you capable of?
What you specifically need to do to beat that person, unless you go against them.
Speaking of that, Tony Stansbury, perfect example. He first time he posted in the chat, first time touching the table was at Billy's novice class in November, the Kiwanis event. It was a good thing for someone with zero experience to see if they wanted to spend any time in it. And I tell you what, Tony, he just walked through everybody. We could have had him in the amateur class and done well in the amateur class. He's so strong, such a strong hand. It's very awesome seeing that. And then Chucky, he said, Tony, you would have had the same dudes in amateur class though. Plus you would have crushed more people. That's hilarious. And he said,
correct.
Tony,
and
Tony
see there, Tony, what that goes for exactly what I was saying was you don't know your limits until those limits are there and you push yourself toward them. If you continue to stay an amateur novice, then your limits are met. You have nothing to grasp for. Exactly.
Like Mike Malone just said in the chat, he said, you can't learn if you don't lose.
That's always been my attitude about it. You gotta, if you're always winning, you're never learning.
Right. Yep. You're not getting beat, so you don't know what to work on.
And past weekend, I learned a lot.
And then Tony said, Chucky, we are just getting started, bro. I'd like to know if Tony, if you're still there, let us know if you got your wife on the table with you yet. I know she is a supporter of the channel and she's been in the chat, so she knows about this arm wrestling. I'd like to know if she's gotten on the table.
Well, I was pleasantly surprised at that group that we had down in the Charleston area. A young guy and his wife or fiance, I'm not quite sure, I can't remember, but they came in and she's sitting there and she verbally knew what everything was. Pronating, all of the different, and I'm like, why aren't you up here on the girl? Get your butt on this table. And that girl, she's got some heavy hitting. Yeah. And I told her, I looked at her boyfriend or her husband and I said, keep her on the table. And to find out that they don't live too far from me here in, Walker, where I live. So either way, it would be probably about the same time for them to come either to practices here or practices in the Charleston area if they continue to have them there.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay, let's see here.
You're getting challenged.
Oh, here we go. He's talking smack. All right, Billy's gonna have to learn in July. Oh snap! Chucky and I are going at it left-handed. Oh,
Wilkie's correct on that. It's people trophy hunting that seek out that amateur or that novice class, and that's true. Yeah. And after 26 years of arm wrestling, 24 years when we moved to our farm, we had to go through the basement, and because that's where all of our trophies were located. After 30 years, they kind of get, they just don't fit into your decor in your house. So They got
Exactly.
shoved to the basement, and we probably put out over 1,000 trophies into the trash. And I gave them to a local guy that was just going to scrap them. But I peeled off all my labels from them. But I mean, trophies that were 6, 7 feet tall.
Holy
And
moly.
they're just dust collectors.
Yeah.
So the only ones that I've really kept now was my first tournament, my first states, and then of course I've kept all my national and my Arnold Classic, the bigger ones. I've kept all of those awards. But
Yeah. That's why I enjoy the ribbons, the ribbon and the medals. I enjoy those. Easy to keep. You just got them all and, hang them on a hook. Boom. You ain't got to build shelves to hold nothing. That's what I'm a fan of, the ribbon and the medals personally. But okay, so we talked about a little bit of the team aspect, right? How about your training? Let's move on to training. Arm wrestling specific training. What does your training look like, or what is it going to look like? And that'll lead me into my next question.
Yeah, everybody asked me, what do you do for this specific thing? Blah, blah, blah. Everyone has always commented about my grip. And I think that has a lot to do. I used to tell people it's because I had teenagers, But we do a lot of wood burn. We burn wood in an outside boiler that heats our inside. So we do a lot of holding of wood, carrying wood.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing that, I'll try to just grab it with one hand and
Gotcha.
do what I need to do. And I've got some things there at the house that I've got an old railroad piece of a railroad track, and it's cut into an anvil. And I'll take it and I'll hold that till I can't hold it anymore, and it drops. But as far as other training, I do a lot of bands. And when I work with my hand, like at work, I'm at work right now, I've got my little stress ball. I sit and I squeeze that most of the time.
I noticed that you're doing this with it, not this. Yeah. I noticed you're doing this with it. So everybody pay attention. It's this, not this.
Yes, correct. And this little doodad, when the kids here at school found out that I was a arm wrestler, and they said, well, you have to do a lot of things strengthening your hand. So I had a kid give me this.
Nice.
And it's fidget thing, I guess. But I just sit there and I have it in a lot of times I wear hoodies, and I have it in my hoodie, and I just sit there and squeeze on it. So, but gotcha. Training here, like right now on my desk at work, I've got a band. So whenever I come in here to do office work, I sit on the computer and
yeah. I have one also. I have one at I have one at my station at work, and then I have one at my desk.
Yeah. I have
you get the blood flowing.
I don't have a lot of stuff set at home. I have a table, and then I have one of the half practice tables that I have a little bit of a pulley system on. I've got to get that set back up in the house because I had taken it out to the garage and we've redone some things. But I have 2 Pilates machines. And if anyone could ever get a Pilates machine or a total gym, you know what a total gym is?
Yeah.
Old Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
You put your body weight on that, and then you sit there and go like this.
Yeah.
That's all you have to work with.
Yeah, exactly.
And but that, and people want to say, what do you need to work the most? And they had that question on the women's arm wrestling page here. They were asking about it, and I said your hand mostly, but it's your whole body, because if you're not completely in tune with everything, your back, your shoulders, you don't have it. I mean, keeping this tight, you've got to have that strength in there too.
You got to have your feet in the right position, nice strong legs,
And I tell you, I've had some issues with with my knee and my feet here lately. And if that's not a go, you're not a go. I mean, you've got to be able to have everything. So when they ask that, I would say your whole body, in the sense is everything's got to be together,
Yeah.
and working and
Big chain.
yeah, correctly. You see the big guys come up there with their upper body and that's all they want to use. Well, if you've got your whole body in tune and with it, you'll use your whole body.
Yeah, I agree.
So as far as my workout, bands, hand, anything I can do with my hand, I handle a lot of stuff here at work that's heavy, so I try to handle it myself to get that workout. So,
Mhm.
like every Tuesday, I handle big cases of cans, and they're almost 60 pounds. And I'll do it because it's not that
Yeah,
you're not going to do a good job, but I want the exercise.
yeah, exactly. I hear you. Let's see here. Josh Croxley, he said in the chat he carries grip rings around every day, everywhere.
Yep.
So you got another person with a grip. The heathen, she said that's true story. Just pulled a hamstring at practice.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how many times I've had to go to my chiropractor to have her put ribs back in my back
Oh my.
all the time. And of
Jeez.
course she knows I'm an arm wrestler, and she's like, do you drink concrete? She says these grown men that come in here, their backs aren't that stiff, and she just
Wow.
and when she gets it to pop, put them ribs back in, and it's quite often. It hurts so bad that I just lay there. I want to cry, but I'm not going to cry in front of people.
That's hilarious. Drew Hollinger, he's in the chat. What's up, Drew? He said killer. The reason why I asked you about your training, you have a big match coming up.
I know.
You do have a big match coming up.
She and I have went at it several times. I beat her at nationals last year.
Well, let's let everybody know, if anybody in the chat or anybody watching does not know, Miss Christina Casto has a big super match coming up May 13th at Garage Wars in East Liverpool, my hometown. We're putting this event on. It's going to be a great event. If everybody could come to that and support all the pullers in that, it would be wonderful. The more people, the better. We're going to have a block party along with the arm wrestling. Yes. So you can bring your kids, and there's going to be like bounce houses, dunk tank, stuff of that sort. And then also the arm wrestling starting at 3 p.m. But if anybody doesn't know already, Christina has a big match against Miss Martha Swick.
Yes.
So they had discussed it, a month or two ago, and we finally got the okay from Martha last week. So there's a lot of talk on this match. This is a big match for you.
Oh yeah, it is. First, I've got to get healthy again with my elbow, but I've really got to practice. She's got a really fast hit, and that's just one thing that I've got to stop is her fast hit. So if I can stop her fast hit, then it's a pool. It'll be a war. She and I both wrestle. Probably she and I are more identical than any other puller that I've ever wrestled. So it's head for head, pound for pound, how we wrestle. Training, I think she's probably on the upper side on that than I am. She's a little younger than me, but I think she can pull. She's a world champion now, so we know that. She beat me at Worlds right after I beat her at Nationals. So
you guys 1-1 then? Just 1-1? Or
yeah.
What's the okay,
yeah,
so this is best out of 3 at this point. There we go.
There you go.
looking forward to this. This is going to be a great event.
And
I'm looking
Martha is
forward to that.
just, she's an awesome person. I really like Martha. We got to hang out. She and I and a couple other people at Worlds, and really funny. And we just had a ball. I do. I enjoy, there's not many arm wrestlers, especially the females, that I can say I don't like to be around. I mean, there's a couple because some situations, but they're just the female arm wrestling is just, I don't see that gnawing at each other like men want to do, and I'm like, good gracious, settle it
You
on the
guys are
table
happy
and
to
leave
be
it
there,
there.
right?
Yeah,
You guys are happy to be there, yeah.
Yeah, just settle it on the table and leave it there.
Yeah.
Don't bring your pride and manhood into the agenda.
I can definitely tell that sometimes men can definitely be more catty on arm wrestling than the ladies. The ladies are pretty straightforward. Come to the table, do your work, boom. Yeah, I've gotten way more complaints from men than women.
Yeah.
But then again, I've reffed more men than women too. So I don't know the percentage wise, but I'd love to be able to ref more women matches. So hopefully we can get some more ladies pulling, in our area. Hopefully.
I'd love to see. I know that I've got several women in this area that can pull and can do it. They don't know a lot about it. One of my good friends, she's won West Virginia State several times, but that's the only time she ever arm wrestles. She never practices for it or do anything. And then she'll come there and win that. And I'm just like, you need to do something with that.
Right. So you got this match with Martha Swick May 13th. Is that all you have in between now and then? Do you have anything in between?
April Nationals.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now I'm just looking to I'm focusing on Nationals to get to go to Worlds, which is in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So
okay. Awesome.
Hopefully I can make that trip, get some sponsors and get to that trip with Bob Brown and the guys out there in Utah in that area. They sponsor, if you win your class at Nationals in the open classes, they give you $1,000 towards your trip to Worlds.
That's
and
awesome.
They're going to do that. They're going to do that again this year. And last year I won Nationals by default with Leanne Wilson, and she and I would have been the final match, and we ended up not pooling in the finals. So there by default I won it, and I won $1,000 to go to France this past year. So
that's awesome.
Hopefully I can get back up there and continue to do that.
Well, we're definitely pulling for you to have a good showing at Nationals. That's in Illinois, correct?
Correct. It's just right outside of Chicago.
Gotcha. So everybody check out the United States Arm Wrestling Association Facebook page. It should be on that. Leonard and Denise run that page, and they got all the flyers on that page. You can go and check that out.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, if you think about it, anyone that's in the Midwest, I'm sorry, it's not that far at all, especially the Western Ohio poolers. It's just right up the road from y'all. You need to really check that out.
I think I checked it out on the maps on the phone, and I think I'm like, I want to say like 7 or 8 hours for me. I think.
Yeah, I think it's only 7-hour drive for me, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, not horrible, I guess. So you got Nationals in April. You got Martha Swick May 13th at Garage Wars. Make sure everybody comes to that. Christina, you're going to be reffing Garage Wars. I wanted to ask you, how do you want to do that? Do you want to go first? Do you want to go last? How do you want to have your match go with Martha at Garage Wars?
Oh, it doesn't matter. We could ask the consensus and see what they say.
because I understand that, reffing is not an easy job. It takes a lot of effort to ref. And I would hate for you to, unless you chose, I would hate for you to ref the entire time and then, you guys be the last match and then you have, 25% less power than what you would have, because I personally think that you and Martha's match could be the main event in my eyes. But then I don't want you
doesn't matter.
to.
That's your tournament. You set it up the way you want to.
Well, I'm going to definitely take your, your advice on it, because I just feel like, it's not necessarily fair to have to ref the entire event and then pull.
Correct.
I'd like to give it give you the option to pick when you want to have your match.
Ladies before gentlemen, I guess.
So we'll go first. You guys can kick it off.
There you go.
That's a great idea. Or at least maybe we'll do a couple of the, say maybe like the very newer
guys.
The real newer guys. Maybe do like 4 or 5 of those matches, and then we'll take a quick breather, let you warm up, and then we'll kick off the main event with you guys.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great idea.
How many do you have? How many do you have set up right now?
Oh, I want to say 25-ish.
Okay.
25-ish, and maybe 10 of those matches are amateur matches. I would say maybe 15-ish. So, I don't think that they're going to be that difficult to ref. So I think it'd probably be okay. You guys going towards the beginning. It shouldn't be too hard to ref those first few matches. The newer pullers, they don't argue as much. But then again, I've had some that have argued, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. If I have to jump in there for you, I don't mind doing that either.
For me, it's the newer. For me, it's the other ones that don't gripe as much because they know me. The newer ones don't know me yet.
Okay.
So they're like, and I'm like,
listen here, Sonny.
Yeah. But that's fine with me.
Okay. So anything after May 13th? You got anything else planned? Just Worlds? Hopefully you
right now I don't have anything planned. No, not at all.
So hopefully you qualify for Worlds in April. Then you got the Martha Swick match. And then
June 4th, I'm refereeing Bowling Green.
I think it's June 29th.
Is that what it is? I can't remember. Somewhere on June 4th too, I do believe. I gotta look. I've got a little calendar of everything wrote down now.
Gotcha. That's probably the best way to do it.
I think it's July 29th in Bowling Green.
That's right. June 3rd is a Saturday. That's Michigan State's.
That's what it is. That's where I'm refereeing.
You're reffing at Michigan State's.
I'm gonna put that on the calendar too.
Nice. Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you there. I'll definitely be at Michigan State's for sure.
Yeah. He already contacted me about that. So
cool. Awesome. That's great. So you're gonna do the reffing at Michigan State's. You're doing reffing at the Garage Wars. You got Worlds in September, right?
Yes, correct.
Hopefully.
If anybody would like to sponsor an arm wrestling, or know of any sponsors, tell them to get a hold of me.
Yeah. So if anybody can help Christina out with that, hopefully she can make it. She got to win her class, right?
You can.
Or is it top 3?
It's top 3.
Top 3. Okay. So hopefully at least get top 3, and we can try to get some help for you in the sponsorship category for you to go to Malaysia. Hopefully we can help you out with that. So, and then also, hopefully, I can get you on the ring for reffing our tournament in November 18th. Hopefully, I can get you on for that one. Hopefully.
Oh, correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So cool. So that's what you got going on for 23. Let's go ahead and catch up with the chat, and then we're going to move on to the last of the questions here. Let's see here. Can't wait. It's going to be so cool. Not sure what he's talking about. That was a while ago. That's either main event or the opener. Who knows? That match is going to be a barn burner. Yeah, you and Martha for sure. Oh yeah, Mike was talking about Garage Wars. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Red Line arm wrestling, Mike. That is August 19th.
19th, August 19th, West Virginia States. Be there. Okay, so I think that we're caught up on the chat. I did want to ask you a couple more, I guess, more serious questions. I guess. Where do you see ladies arm wrestling in the future? Like, where do you see ladies arm wrestling going here within the next 5 years or so?
Well, with like we were saying earlier, with like the movement in Texas, I want to try to put together a couple of things here in the East for some ladies. We're trying to get some things started as of June. We'll be doing a get together and a little bit of a training just for women. Deb Banyan has invited a few women down, so we're going to be going down there and hopefully get in some talks about getting on the East Coast, getting more women involved. And like they have in Texas, has done really, really super job in promoting their women. And out in Colorado, they're doing really well with Learin. You have LaFond, and I know there's another girl, Sarah, and Latonda. I can't remember what her last name is, but all the girls out there just do an exceptional job of promoting the women. And I want to see more of that here on the East Coast. But I think women's arm wrestling, with Gabby being in the spotlight and people like that, and I know Angela Bath, she's done some exceptional things. She's here now in the United States, and I want them to be brought more to the forefront so other women can see that they can do this. It's not just the men in there, and women want to Sarah Lightning Latonda, they're saying.
Latona, yeah. Sarah Latona. She's a beast.
She's been doing some good stuff. So I just I know I'm leaving out some other women out there that I've been watching and doing a lot of their things that they're doing to try to promote the women.
I tell you what, I think Learin Wilson, I'm almost guaranteeing you're going to see her at an East versus West.
Well, I don't know why we haven't already. And I think that's what Ben is trying to promote, because just like he said the other night, she goes through and she gets into all these tournaments, and sometimes she has to get into men's classes in order to even get a good fight.
Yeah.
And which is true. I mean, good gracious, at nationals, she and I went at it, and I have 40. Well, back then she was down for national, so I probably had 40, 50 pounds on her, and the girl is just stout.
Yeah,
and
very strong.
Making her way, and I'm just not sure why they haven't, and more people haven't.
I bet you more so than what we're thinking. I bet you she's on the radar of the big promoters. She has to be. She just running through everybody.
Well, and I don't know so much as what she's willing to share with other people to a lot of the younger poolers, they don't want to share their secrets or blah, 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 blah. To me, it's arm wrestling. You're standing right out there doing it. It's not a secret, just explain to people how you do what you do. If they get better than you, then you've helped that person to climb a ladder. And if you were one of those rungs on that ladder, look at it as not as, but look at it as a compliment. I've had people say, I used to have your picture. I had one girl said, I had your picture and I'd set it up because you were the one to beat.
Yeah.
And she said, then when I finally beat you,
gotta find somebody else's picture.
Yeah, something, amazing. No, she still kept that picture. We're really good friends, but
Awesome.
She says, at that point, then she could see the firelight in me, and just I said before. But with women's arm wrestling, getting back to that, we as women also, we support each other and we don't fight like the guys do, but we also need to open it up to more women and bring them in. And just like I said, when it comes to not beating up on them, find their strength and work on their strength and say, that's good. It's just like, any child, if you want them to do better, you've got to excel them in what they're doing right on the table and teach them how to be a good champion.
Yeah. It's wise words.
We need to, as a group of people, stop. If we want the sport to grow in any way, it is a battle, but it's a battle on the table and nowhere else. And that's where it needs to lie. The screaming and the yelling, that's in all excitement of winning, that's okay. But when you come up to the table and you're screaming and yelling at each other, to me, that doesn't, I don't know. I guess it's all my years in arm wrestling. It just, to me, it doesn't look good, but other people say, oh, that's part of arm wrestling, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, really, it's not. But
you've been around long enough. Yeah.
I want to bring more women into it. And the way it's heading, just like you said, with Leanne, with Danielle Evanson, I mean, that girl right there, she's one that people don't talk about too much. But Danielle doesn't have that much experience on the table. People have to look at it. And once Danielle really gets under her wing what she needs to have under her wing, she is going to be unstoppable.
Yeah.
And I look for those two to be colliding heads soon if Danielle keeps up what she's doing and learning. She needs to get with some people and learn a little bit more about it. And I think her and Leanne could really match each other up.
Maybe down the road, yeah.
I give it another year, but I think women's arm wrestling in itself, we are proving right now that, and a lot of the ladies, even the smaller ladies, a lot of the smaller ladies are proven that they're not just there to be the WAL ring girl. They're there to be the event. Yeah. And thanks to, Sarah Bachman, Oliver, and Gabby, those are the people that keep pushing us toward the forefront, and it needs to happen. And if it takes me, not being in arm wrestling anymore, but promoting the sport and staying around with it, then I hope that that's what I do. Okay. And I think women's arm wrestling's going, as long as we keep it women and not diffuse from that, it'll be okay.
Gotcha. What do you think about Sarah Wilson and Leera Wilson? Do you think that who do you think would come out on top on that match? Sarah Wilson from Canada just won Arnold's, and Leera Wilson.
Well, I didn't get to feel Sarah's hand or anything like that. They both have speed. I give Sarah that. She's a big girl. Most big people do not have the speed, but Sarah Wilson has some speed. So her and Leanne, that would be a, you know,
One of
David
the
versus
top,
Goliath.
one of the top ladies in Canada, you know, versus one of the top ladies in America. You know, I'd
Yeah.
love to see that match.
And just like I said, you know, Leanne has to pull up and wait. Whether she would do that one, I'm not sure, but it would be an interesting match.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would probably have to say Leanne, because Leanne is diversatile. She can go into the hook, she can go top roll, and I've not seen so much that from Sarah as I have. And if Sarah didn't get her on pure strength and body, then I think Leanne could pull it out and win it.
Okay.
Because Leanne's smart about arm wrestling. Not to say that Sarah isn't, but Leanne is, she has a lot of diversity in her pulling. She's not just a hooker or a top roller. She knows what
goes
she's
where
doing.
she needs to go. Yeah. Tries
Correct.
to key. Yeah.
Yes. And she
gotcha.
readjusts well. So, you know, a lot of women don't do that. They just stay one thing, and she's
I didn't get an opportunity to actually see Sarah Wilson pull in different directions. Like, she just won all of her matches so fast at
Correct.
Arnold that you didn't get to see. She just went boom, just put them all down. So I'd love to see her and Leanne go at it one day. So yeah, that's a great outlook on ladies arm wrestling that you have. I'd love to see the East Coast, like you said, do ladies only events, and I'm sure we'll get there. We'll get there. We just gotta, you know, build it up, and it doesn't just take the ladies to do it. The men can help. The men can help build the ladies ranks up also. You know, it takes a community, you know.
Correct. And if the men will do that, that is what needs to be done. I just think that if we promote it with women, and a lot of women say they don't want to pull if it's 150, and I look at it like this: it's been 150 pounds and above the whole time I've been arm wrestling. I started out, when I first started, I was only 150 pounds, 55 pounds, 160 pounds. You know, I've had to arm wrestle women 300-400 pounds.
Gotcha.
And, you know, I don't understand their not wanting to arm wrestle someone that's 20 pounds heavier than them.
Right.
When the women that are in that open class are wrestling people that's 100 pounds or more heavier than them.
I gotcha. So, it's understandable. It's understandable. I can see it from both perspectives. You know, I can understand it, because I don't want to arm wrestle somebody that's 100 pounds more than me. But like, there's just more guys in it, you know. And then I can understand it from a promoter's viewpoint also. You know, you don't want to have 3 different ladies classes, right and left, and then you only get 3 ladies show up, period.
Yeah.
You know, so I can understand it from both viewpoints.
Yeah, it's a sticky situation, but I think that if we keep going in the way that we're going, hopefully the women it builds up more, and we can. Yeah. I feel that it is, because more and more women are getting into it, and I think with people like you spotlighting on women, and TAL, how they're spotlighting on women, Sarah and them out there, you know, they pick a woman and they highlight on her every week. I think that's awesome how they're doing that out there.
Yeah.
But we need to, just like if you're going to grow any sport, whether it be guys or women, we just need to have the full capacity of everyone involved to
the full support.
Yeah
exactly.
And with, like, you know, Arnold's, if we didn't have 8 pullers this year, they were going to do away with the ladies. Well, luckily we came in with 13, so
Yeah, that's good. That's good. There was more ladies than there was in a couple of the men's classes, I do believe.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Juan Ortega, he showed up. He said July 29th we'll have some very powerful women pulling. Awesome.
I was
There's some,
really happy when I went up to the
yeah,
Ohio Toledo tournament to see
yeah,
that many women. And it was an open class and seeing the lower ones get in. And I was like, that's what it needs to be, not people just backing away because, oh, she showed up, I'm not going to wrestle. Or,
yeah,
if I did that, I wouldn't wrestle because, sometimes I have, things that block me mentally in my women's categories that I don't want to get into. But, you just got to work around it and do what you need to do.
I was really impressed with. I think her name was Kelly Bills. I think Darren Bills' wife. I do believe
Correct.
she was fierce on that table, and I could respect that. She was right there. She
She was
was
the one that
stout and nice and tight, and it was great. I loved
she was the
reffing.
one that I was surprised that stayed, once she saw who all was in there, she stayed in there. And she was, and
Yeah,
the younger girl from up in Detroit, I was just like, that's how you're going to learn.
yeah, yeah.
You're
Eric
either going to
Crespo's daughter.
learn
Yeah,
that you love the sport and you can do it and you're learning at that point, or you really suck at the sport and you're too late into it and you got to get out.
gotcha. Yeah. I definitely see ladies arm wrestling being more popular in the future. We just got to help everybody along the way, for sure. For
Correct.
sure.
Correct. And
Let's go ahead and move on to last just a couple little questions here before we start wrapping it up. We're an hour and 44 minutes already into it. Surprise.
wow.
Yeah, it goes quick once you get the conversation going. Let's see here. Juan also said we need more women involved in order to grow. Kelly Bills is a beast. Yes, she is. Yep, that's who we're talking about. Yep, Kelly, awesome arm wrestler. Let's see here. If anybody has any questions for Christina, that if you're watching and you got any questions for Christina, just go ahead and post them in the chat now, because we're going to be wrapping it up before too long. So if you guys have any questions, post them in the chat. I wanted to ask you last couple questions. What advice, general advice, would you give to newcomers coming into the sport? We've got a lot of new people asking, like you said earlier, about, hey, I'm starting in the sport. Where do I go to start training and stuff like that? What advice would you give these newcomers?
Well, first of all, I have a lot of people come to me or contact me on Facebook, which anyone can if they need to. I'm under Christina Casto. But I hooked them up with the different clubs within their area. That's why earlier I wrote down who Wilkinson was from Pittsburgh, because I've had a lot of people in that area and I just didn't know my contacts up there besides Tim Lewis.
Gotcha.
That we're having practices. So that gives me at least, somebody to shoot them toward.
Yep. Hey, real quick, Wilkie, Jeff Wilkinson runs Wild Man Arms on Facebook. You can check out his group. You can, I think it's an open group as of the moment, a public group. So you can join that group and get involved with those guys in the Pittsburgh area.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that.
Kevin Palco, no question. Just want to say Christina is a great ambassador for the sport and happy to call her a friend. That's awesome. Very nice of Kevin.
Same here, Kevin. My advice is don't give up. Like if you come into it and you come into it at a practice, come to 3 or 4 practices before you give up, because something may not click in those first 2 practices. You may not hit with something or someone that really gets that fire burning for you. Stay with it and try to learn it. If somebody is giving you advice, if you if they're pretty much a seasoned pooler, I should say, and you feel like that they're giving you advice, but you're not really catching on to it, don't feel the need to not ask questions. Ask them, well, I don't understand this, or this of how like the body's moving or anything. When
Yep.
when you practice with me, you will see that I am a full body person. I will get behind a person and hug them and lean them to show them that they need to be using their whole body. And some people might think it's crazy, but that's just, to me, that helps them. And as soon as I do it, it's like a light bulb comes on and they're like, oh, okay, I see now what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, stick with it. Don't, like, if you go to a tournament, that's your first time you've ever pulled, you're probably going to lose because there's other people out there that's done it before. So don't let that hinder you from doing it. If
Yeah,
you
kind
know
of take
there,
your you get everybody takes their lickings, you know.
yes, yes.
Exactly.
If you are in with a team that has seasoned poolers, don't be so much on the table all the time, but stand back and listen. You will be surprised at how much you will learn just by standing back, listening. Don't listen too much to Todd Hutchings, because especially when he's pooling. Just teasing Todd. But yeah, just stand back and listen to some of the things that they're saying and advice that they're giving other people. It's a lot of things that I've learned in the last 8-10 years is by going and listening and not doing, just really listening. A lot of people say, well, I follow this person on YouTube, I follow that person on YouTube. That's really great. There are some really awesome YouTubers out there doing some good things. There are some a lot of YouTubers, TikTokers, and people doing things on there that aren't so much what you should be doing. But like I said, get with a seasoned pooler, a veteran that knows what they're doing, knows how to teach you the ways of arm wrestling, along with the rules and the right rules. And that'll keep you safe on the table. That'll keep you learning more, because once you hear certain nuances, you'll go toward those and more things will add into it to help you along the way. So just don't give up. Stick with it.
Great points for sure. Let's catch up on the chat. We have some big names in here now. Sol Aaron, he is the one that puts together all the flyers and everything for East versus West.
Oh yeah.
It is awesome to have him in the chat and watching. Yep, Paul Lynn's here. Let's see. Sol Aaron says newcomers into the sport will look for video guidance. Direct them to Coach Ray, Ryan Turner. Yep. Coach Ray has a vast array of training videos and specific arm wrestling training videos. It's a great library that you can go through.
Toddzilla's are really knowledgeable, and I don't give Todd enough credit. I like to beat up on him sometimes, but he's just he's a funny creature. And
I've watched his isometric videos probably a half dozen times.
That will be my adding into my training, because to help with this elbow and certain things. But did you lose your chair there?
No, my daughter almost knocked down my my light I got right here. She come through and kicked it and almost knocked it over. Get out of here. Anyway.
But the video, I believe there's a lot of good videos out there, and there are a lot of bad videos out there. Don't get me wrong. If you've got 200 pounds put up on a pulley system and you lift it and get sky in there, I'm sorry, but that's not doing yourself any good at all. Put 50 pounds on there and do it about 50 times, and then see how you go after that.
Get that blood in there. Yeah. Let's see here. So Aaron said, also, we have a plethora of YouTubers can help us all out. Yep. Wilkie said, Pittsburgh practices. Yep. It's open everyone is welcome. Check out Wild Man Arms on Facebook. Paul Lynn, he's here. He's everywhere, he says. Let's see here. Evan Burgoyne apparently had a stream going on. Soul says, hi, Christina.
Oh, hello.
Let's see here. Soul also added, I want to hear another perspective also. Smash the likes, folks. Yes, Wookie just reminded me. If you're watching this stream, please give us a like and a subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. We are trying to grow this channel and grow East Ohio arm wrestling. So we would love it if you guys give us a like and a subscribe and a share if you'd even like to do that. Let's see here. Back to the chat. Mike Williamson with Redline Arm Wrestling. He said, I arm wrestled Christina in Belpre last July. She taught me many lessons that day. She's super tough and can probably get pins on guys in this chat. Yes, I have no doubt about that. I know she got me in a bad spot and I was pinned. Yeah. So
Thank
you
you.
gotta just keep working at it, Mike. You'll get it. Let's see here.
I think he's there now.
Yeah, he'll be all right. Let's see here. Beer Man's live too, apparently. Soul just got here. Paul said, okay, so I'm on Saturday. That's enough for this week. Oh my goodness, that's hilarious.
He's talking about he saw Todd.
Beer Man, I think is what he's talking about. Let's see here. Let me just try to go through. I think everybody's talking to each other here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Chucky Peterson. He said, Christina pulled with my wife in November. My wife loves her. Do you remember pulling Chucky's wife?
Yes, I do. I want to take away from, the sport of being, like someone said, an ambassador. I hope that I am, and I hope that I bring a positive light to the sport and encourage other people to want to do it. And I just hope that I've never discouraged anyone from doing it and, send them away from the sport. I know there's couple things that's going on in the ladies sport, and people, ask me my opinion on it. And, my opinion isn't the greatest for those people that don't want to hear it. But, people ask me about, I'll just say it, Robin Chandler and arm wrestling. And, it's not my rules that say she can't or cannot compete in our sport. So therefore, given that they aren't my rules, she is allowed to participate. And where would that leave me if I were to say that I wouldn't pull her, other than sitting on the sideline, not arm wrestling? That doesn't do me any justice. So no, it's not how I don't think that, women should have to compete in that situation, but they're not my rules. So I compete in that situation. Robin is an awesome person. Very, very personable. Told me I did a good job at Arnold's, messaged me. But people ask me my opinion on that. And my opinion is that I think that we should have to compete against women of transgender? No. Do I? Yes, because our sport allows it. And if I want to compete, then I have to. So, but as a person, I would buy her a hamburger again, just like I at Worlds year before last. So yeah, very, very nice person to talk to. And you wouldn't discount a child that had a mental or physical disability and not talk to him. I'm just not that
Right.
type of person. I'm just not
Right.
that type of person. I'm not the one that deals it in the end. I'm not going to be the one that deals it here.
Yep.
So that's my take on that. But I just think that when, just like any other time, if I have to go to a tournament and face 15 people, and then there's that, Gabby or Sarah, or
You're not going to back
Robin.
down, right? No.
Robin, I'll go in there and take my losses and learn from them.
There you go.
But you can't be evil in the world and try to be nice at the same time. So I just keep it the way I am, truthful.
Yeah. Pauline said, tell Christina I miss her.
Oh, I miss you too, Paul. Thank you.
Soul said, bro, you got to put you both side by side. This does not let me go side by side with two people. It's because I'm on my phone. I'm using my phone as the video, so it doesn't let me have that option, unfortunately.
Oh, they
I
must
gotta
be
get a
getting
better
tired
camera.
of seeing us flip back and forth.
Yeah, it just does not give me the option to have a side by side just because it's on the phone. I got to get a better camera and hook it up to the laptop in order to do that. But the camera I have is very, very cheap, and I have to upgrade. But that'll come in time. We'll get that later on. Let's see here. Soul also said, it is actually so nice to see your take, Christina.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let's see here. Yeah, definitely a delicate subject. Well, we appreciate everybody's
Someone
touch.
did ask the question, what was my most memorable match?
Yeah, I
And
did. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
my most memorable match for me, other than winning my first national championship, would be the match against in the finals 2011 at Arnold Classic, when I was battling for first and second, and that was the day my father passed away. My other significant match would be at the Worlds this year against the world champion, and she and I went at it. We had to go for two in the
I remember. Hey, I remember that. I was at work. Well, no, I wasn't at work. I was watching it live. It's like 3 a.m. No, I wasn't even at work. No, it was like 3 a.m. Yeah, I got up early to watch. I was laying in bed. I remember that. And you and what was her name? She had long blonde hair. Also, she reffed. Also, she was a ref.
Yeah, she's a referee. Oh shoot, I had her name. Now it's
either way.
Camille something. Camille was her name.
I remember you guys battled it out for like a minute straight. It might have been even longer. That was a hard fought battle. I was like, I had to have waken up my.
I actually pinned her, but they said my elbow came outside the perimeter of the back, and there is no video ever showing. It's got the referee's back of their head away.
No.
But that's okay. It was hard fought and the most fun on the arm wrestling table I'd ever had.
Yeah, I saw you had a great time on that one.
Yeah,
guys, had the big hug after that. It was great seeing that.
It was an awesome experience. Worlds was, I really liked it. I did. I liked it.
Hopefully we get you back to Worlds again this year in Malaysia. Hopefully you can get another good a good matchup there.
I would love to go and compete again. I mean, I for years I've always, won nationals and made it on the team, but have never taken the time to go, or, my husband, him too, winning multiple national championships, and neither one of us until year before last. I went to the Worlds here in Florida, and then decided to go ahead and go to the one in France, and I just loved it. Nice.
Mike at Red Lion Arm Wrestling asks, in a competition setting, if you could have one attribute, what would it be?
One attribute. Let me see. It would be to think better on the table of what I need to do when I need to do it, and
Yeah,
be
time,
able
focus of timing. Yeah.
and be able to put those together. Out of the 30 years, it still seems like I'm just now clicking with that and thinking about it. But being able to go more inside with the elbow problem that I have, it's hard. And I'm a strong hooker when I am. It's just that it hurts like crap to do it.
Yeah, gotcha. I gotcha.
But,
Soul Aaron, he says, I humbly apologize for not knowing who you are, Christina, in your glory days, only because I am new to the sport mid 2000s ish. But this is the time, and your voice will go a long way to empowering the women's part of the sport. Yeah, that's very
I
good
agree with
point
that.
there.
Yeah.
Very good point. Yep. He does have a question. Do you think the sport is becoming an endurance-based sport?
Oh, it always has been. Just like we were saying about my worlds at Worlds. She and I went. We had to go for at it because I beat her once, and then we had to go again.
Yeah.
And it was a long draw. We slipped, and then we both fouled. Then we slipped, and then we just went at it forever in those straps. And to me, it's always been an endurance sport. I was in a match, I think it was like 93 or 94 in up in Ohio and Brown County, and I wrestled Heather McSherry. And if she and I would not have been in the straps by the time we were done, I would say that match was 10 minutes and something long. We were just at it and pulling each other, and I mean solid 10 minutes. We didn't stop for anything. Once we got in that strap, we went so long that if my husband was not standing behind me to catch me, we would have been hanging by the strap. We were so tired after that.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
That was
it. Endurance is definitely a great attribute if you have it. Like Kevin Palco, he's the endurance master in my eyes. He just can be on the table the entire time. It's crazy.
And that really helps out when you're like at tournaments like the Arnold Classic. When it's bam, 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 you've got to be ready. And sometimes I'm not trained up for the endurance part of it, and I regret it. And the Arnold's was one of them.
Yeah.
Because my arm was blown after that strap match.
Yeah. I forgot to do it earlier, but shout out to Ohio's number 154 pounder. Now the nation's number 154 pounder, Mr. Kevin Palco. Woo woo. Good job, Kev. Hopefully he's still watching the show, but that's okay if he's not. I just wanted to give him a quick shout out for his win at Arnold's. That was a great win. We're just going to wrap it up here. Let's see here. Endurance-based sport. Yeah, we got that. Moves like the King's move and the flop wrist and overall endurance is, in general, is the new Stephen Curry 3-pointer of the sport for sure.
I don't like the King's move, but as you can see in my final match, one of my final matches there, one of my matches they showed at the Arnold's, in the straps, I was flopped wrist and I was just going full side pressure. And
yeah.
I find myself doing that a lot when I get in that flopped wrist position. I just go full side pressure. And flop wrist, you have to rely upon endurance there.
Yep. So Aaron also says endurance is the counter to prevent mega giants to getting even bigger. We saw that with Hermes versus Levon. Yep. The last East versus West event, all three Georgians won all their matches on a flop wrist press. Yep.
Yep.
Let's see here. Wilkie agreed. Very true. That comes with doing your homework on an opponent and knowing the lane you need to be in to stay in to drain the mega size. Yep.
And that's true. That's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think, Christina, I think that's going to wrap it up. I really appreciate you being on the podcast tonight. Thank you so much for, sharing your wisdom over the 30 and a half or 31 and a half.
It's going on 31.
So 30 and a half years of arm wrestling experience. We thank you so much for what you do for the sport.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, everything that you do for me personally, when it comes to arm wrestling and all the advice you give me and everything. Appreciate it so much. We thank everybody for being here in the chat and watching, everybody that gave us a like and or a subscribe. We thank you so much. We definitely want to thank our sponsors again: Marshall Thompson Trucking, SCI Roofing Services, Bill Connor with Morrow County Arm Wrestling League, Zach Perkins with Grip Arm Sport, and the Kiwanis Club of East Liverpool. We definitely want to thank them for their continued support. Christine, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everything. And so hopefully we'll, you know what I'd really like to do is have a nice ladies chat with a lot of ladies.
Oh, there you go.
On the show. That'd be a great to have a ladies podcast, a bunch of lady guests, and everybody can come up with some good ideas, hopefully get some East Coast stuff going on. That'd be kind of fun.
Yes, there you go.
That'd
Well,
be
we
fun.
hope to further women's sports here in the next few months and get them going. So, and I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate everybody that came on to listen to us and watch us. So thanks a lot. From Casto Arm Wrestling and Muddy River Boys. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Thanks for watching. Everybody have a wonderful night and